going to build here may be the most important slide you will ever see in any presentation. I call it How Our Reality is Built. It's a truth discovery methodology. Down here, you have knowledge. This block represents available information, which constitutes potential knowledge that may be gathered, processed, understood, and then acted upon by individuals in our society. On top of that knowledge, or again, over here, you'll see I've put or lack thereof, okay, knowledge or ignorance, okay? You have an understanding of that information, again, or lack thereof. These are the decision-making processes that each one of us uses, and they are dependent upon the knowledge that we either have or do not have. So these processes take place in the human mind and are chosen by each individual based upon the available information that they take into themselves. Above that, something happens externally, okay? We put our knowledge and our decision-making processes into action in the world through our behavior, okay? And that I call wisdom or lack thereof. Okay? So each individual's behavior is based upon the quality of their decision-making processes, which, again, in turn, are based upon the quality of their available information that they've taken into themselves. This three-step process, okay, was in the ancient world referred to as the trivium. That's a Latin term. It means the three ways, the three methods. It's a threefold process of truth discovery, and it's been eradicated from the modern world. Eradicated, okay? Real education in the past taught the trivium methodology. Now, so-called educators don't even know the trivium at all. They've never even heard of it, okay? So what happens above that? After human behavior, we get the result, right? We get what actually manifests in reality. So that's the generated result. The conclusion, the manifestation, it's what happens. It's what occurs in our world, okay? The quality of the condition which manifests in any given society is going to be based upon the aggregate quality of behavior within that society. That determines what our world is like. All right? Now, if you were of a mindset, just let's say, so to speak, to try to control that outcome, what level would you want to control things from? So here's how to control reality, if you're of that mindset, and there are many people who are. Are you going to try to control it from the level of manifestation? Well, I think that's pretty impossible, right? Because it's already occurred. It already manifested. You're not going to control it from that level, so we could take that out of the equation. Are you going to control it from the human behavioral level? I mean physically. People's physical behavior. You're going to try to control that in each individual? Well, you could, you know, but that's called overt control. And people see that pretty readily, right? And they'll rebel against that pretty quickly, because they'll know they're under control. So that's going to be the most difficult place to control that from. Can you control it from people's decision-making processes, meaning from the level of mind? Yes, you absolutely can. But that's actually more difficult because you have to go to each individual and you would have to try to change the way that they think. Instead, the most effective way to control reality is to control it from this base level, available information, because that's the level all the other manifested realities are built upon. So if you can control that, you control the whole game. And you control behavior, and therefore you control the outcome. Okay? So we're going to look at how Tesla's name was actually removed from education, from schools. How was that done? How was that accomplished? Okay? Because if you're going to control available information, you have to have some level of control over educational institutions that are teaching children, allegedly. So where are you going to control that from? Are you going to control it from each institutional body? Would that be effective? I don't think that would be very effective. I think the best place, if you are of a mindset to try to control what is going to be taught to our children, would be to control the books. Okay? And when you control the books, which is the available information, you are controlling the answer to this question in the minds of children. What is possible? The imagination becomes stifled at that point. If you can control what people believe or don't believe is possible, you have total control because you control the human imagination. So this was done through controlling books and what was printed in textbooks. And I'm going to explain who did that. If you control it from a level of books, you control the mind. Mind control is not science fiction, ladies and gentlemen. It's based upon the control of available information, which then determines our decision-making processes, which then determines our behavior, which then determines our reality. The control of energy is the control of human beings. It's the control of people. That's what people have to understand about all of this. We're not talking about just the control of a controlled energy paradigm. We're talking about the control of human beings and what they need to live and survive. Or in other words, slavery. So most people, unfortunately, again, this may be uncomfortable for people to hear, most people in the free energy movement still don't understand the free part. They don't understand the free part of that equation. All right? They get the energy part. They're very, very clear about that. But the free part, they have a hard time with. Okay? In two ways I'm going to talk about that. Why do people not understand the free part? Their mind is under control. Their brain is in a cage, okay? And that is because of the availability of information that they are exposed to. They have not dug deep enough to go down, all the way down to that bottom level and really attain real knowledge, okay? So, what I'm talking about here is getting that mind out of the cage, really freeing the mind at a psychological and spiritual level is the only thing that's going to make free energy manifest. Only thing, nothing else. Let's look at what I call the two universal worldwide religions, false religions, that are actually holding humanity back from the manifestation of free energy. And until the mind grasps that these are illusions, that they don't exist in nature, that they don't really do anything except hold us back evolutionarily, there will be no change. Nothing will change here. Don't expect it. Don't count on it. Okay? The first universally believed in world false religion is called authority, or government, call it whatever you want. It's authority. And it's a false religion, and here's what it actually is. It's not my belief about what it is, it's what it actually is. Okay? Authority is an illusion that is born out of mind control. It is based entirely in violence, and it is built upon the erroneous and dogmatic belief that some people are masters who have the moral right to issue commands, while other people are slaves who have a moral obligation to obey the masters. Now, I don't care whether you accept that or not. You could accept that or not accept it. No amount of not accepting it is ever going to make that statement untrue. That is eternal truth. Deal with it, or don't, but it's true nonetheless. Okay? Now, authority in the old world worked like this, ladies and gentlemen. It was called the Old World Order. The old, and I put order in quotes because it was nothing of the kind. It was chaos. It was chaos then, it's chaos now. As long as it goes on, it will be chaos. Okay? The old world order worked like this. There was a king at the top. Unquestioned, unchallenged rule. His word was law. He was the representative of God on the earth. No one could challenge his authority, quote unquote. This is called authority vested in one. The system is based entirely in violence, built upon the erroneous and dogmatic belief or religion that one person is the master who possesses the moral right to issue commands, while all others are subjects who have the moral obligation to obey the commands of the master. How does that differ from what we have today? Well, this is called the New World Order. And again, I put order in quotes, because it's nothing of the kind. It's slavery and chaos. Okay? What sits at the top now is called government. You've just taken this notion of authority and you've divested it into the hands of a few people who call themselves government, okay, and still claim the authority over other people to issue commands and called laws, and then they have the moral obligation to obey those laws, all right? So this is called authority vested in few. This system is based entirely in violence, built upon the erroneous and dogmatic belief or religion that a certain group of people are masters who possess the moral right to issue commands. All others are their subjects who have a moral obligation to obey them. Now, there's a little equation that's left out of here that also ties in with the word free, and that's called money. Okay, because really what rules at the top of that pyramidal structure is a combination of government authority and corporate control. That wedding, that unholy union is what's really controlling the world today. A marriage of government and corporate power, okay? That's what the New World Order is, quote unquote order. Let's just look at how they compare. The old world order with the king at the top, that's called, if we're being honest with ourselves and we stop euphemizing, that's called slavery ruled by one, okay? If we stop the euphemizing, all right? The New World Order, on the other hand, is slavery ruled by few, okay? And determined and dictated by the god called money. If we're being honest with ourselves, most people aren't. Most people lie to themselves every day from the minute they get up until the time that they fall asleep at night. But if we're being honest with ourselves, that's what that certainly is. That's what these two systems most certainly are, okay? The other religion that humanity has to get past and stop believing in is this concept called money, which was given to us by our enslavers, by the way, okay? It's a belief-based system of control built upon the fear of scarcity and purposefully designed to limit access to energy. You know, this whole mind-controlled notion that money is the medium of exchange, that it's somehow the store of value, this is nonsense. It's nonsense. It's not what money is. That's not what it ever has been. It's always been a limiter, a control factor. That's all it is. And if something's controlled, it's not free. See, people think it's the flow. That's why they call it currency. Oh, wait. It's the capacitance. It's the store of value, right? Like we store electricity in capacitors. No, it's not the store of value either. What is it? It's the resistance in the system. Money is the thing that stops energy from flowing freely, if we're being honest with ourselves. It's the resistance when it comes to freeing this technology is you got to give up the notion that you're going to be the one who owns it through the patent process. Let me tell you what the patent process is. It's a deal with the devil. It's a deal with the devil. Because you're taking that technology right to the government, right to the people who ultimately want to squash it so that they can maintain their petrodollar that they want to keep us in debt slavery to for eternity. You know, because keep this system running for tens of thousands of years if they can. All right? So the patent system is it's a cul-de-sac for control. That's all it is. It's getting them, how many free energy inventions do you think were killed by the patent system?
6,000.
And probably more. That's probably the ones we know about. So but if we think we're going to bring Tesla's visionary technology to fruition within a state of slavery, we're lying to ourselves. We're kidding ourselves, okay? We have to stop trying to put the cart before the horse, okay? You can't put the cart before the horse, okay? People think, what the free energy movement seems to think is that Tesla technology is the horse, and it's going to bring in freedom in the cart into our culture. Freedom's riding in that cart, and Tesla technology is that horse. It's going to pull it in, and we're going to magically be free once we develop that. Well, you know, I'm sorry to burst the bubble on that, ladies and gentlemen, but it's the other way around. It's exactly the other way around, okay? Tesla technology's in that cart, and the horse is true freedom, an understanding of what true freedom is. Living in harmony with natural law, the laws of morality, have to come first to usher in an era of true freedom, and then the Tesla technology will be pulled in. Not a moment until. There can be no free energy in an ongoing state of slavery. Slavery must be ended first before free energy can ever be manifested. What I'm really talking about here is a paradigm shift, okay? It's a paradigm shift in the mind, and the religions of money and authority have to be completely abandoned. They have to be completely abandoned before that new manifestation of free energy can occur, okay? Free energy can only manifest as a natural consequence of universal spiritual enlightenment. And that enlightenment, contrary to what many people will tell you, is, by definition, the abandonment of these false religions of authority and money. That's what enlightenment is, contrary to what the New Age movement will tell people that it is. That's what it really is, okay?